Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking something you do without a second thought, maybe even, subconsciously, and we're going to put it under the microscope.
We are, and it's one of the riskiest things you can do behind the wheel, reversing a car.
It sounds so counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, you're talking 5 miles per hour tops. But the sources we dug into, they all say the same thing. They call reversing one of the most deceptively dangerous and accident-prone maneuvers a driver can make.
Right. I mean, we spent all this time learning to parallel park for the driver's test, all these rules, and then what happens? We immediately forget them and just rely on a quick mirror glance and, I don't know, a hope and a prayer.
Exactly. And that split-second decision is where the danger is. That low speed, it gives people a false sense of security.
But it's the moment you're most vulnerable.
Absolutely. You're vulnerable to hitting other vehicles, property, or, and this is the worst case scenario, injuring a pedestrian or a small child who has suddenly moved into your massive blind spot.
It demands what the experts call complete awareness and precise control, and yet we treat it like we're steering a shopping cart. So our mission today is to cut through that complacency. We've looked at the practical techniques, the surprising legal pitfalls, and the hard data on why this goes wrong so often.
And we want to give you, the listener, the tools to achieve that full awareness, to really understand that even in a low-speed parking lot, the stakes they're really high.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the basics, the cold, hard stats. Where are we getting into the most trouble when we shift into reverse?
Well, if you look at the accident reports, it's pretty clear. Parking areas, specifically parking lots, there are major hotspots.
Just because of the chaos.
Exactly. The concentration of vehicles, the chaotic movement, you've got everyone backing out at the same time. Visibility is hampered by these huge SUVs, and pedestrians are darting between cars.
So the environment is tricky, but our sources seem to suggest the real issue isn't the environment itself. It's more about driver discipline, right? What's the biggest mistake drivers make?
It really boils down to inadequate checking. The critical mistake is this one-and-done mentality.
The one and done.
Yeah. A driver checks their surroundings once, puts it in reverse, assumes it's all clear, and then just focuses on steering.
And that assumption is dangerous because...
Because the world doesn't stop moving. Vehicles, and critically people, can and do move into that blind spot after your initial check. You have to maintain constant active surveillance the entire time you're moving backwards.
5 seconds of reversing means 5 seconds of checking.
That's it exactly.
I think a lot of us, myself included, assume our tech is doing that surveillance for us now. But let's get into the legal side first. Is it ever actually illegal to drive in reverse?
That's a great question, and it's the crux of it, really. The general principle is that reversing isn't inherently illegal. You can back out of your driveway, obviously.
Of course.
But it has to be done safely, with clear visibility, and only for a limited distance. But there are some absolute hard no's where the law is crystal clear.
And the penalties are severe, I'm guessing.
Very severe. We all know you can't reverse down the highway if you miss your exit. That's a safety catastrophe waiting to happen.
Right, the speed difference is just too great.
It's massive. You're crawling at 5 miles per hour. Traffic is flying by at 70. But people forget that this also applies to the shoulder.
Oh, even on the shoulder.
Yeah.
You can't just back up a few feet.
Absolutely not. The shoulder is not a legal or safe reversing area. And then you've got other places like intersections and crosswalks. Reversing there is almost always prohibited.
Because you're going against the flow, against expectation.
You're negating a pedestrian's ability to predict your movement. And what about one-way streets?
Also prohibited, I'd imagine.
Usually, yes. It goes against the designated traffic flow. And if you're caught, you're looking at fines, points on your license, and crucially, your liability in an accident goes way, way up.
That's a huge incentive. Okay, let's pivot back to that parking lot. We know the legal risks now. What about the common reasons drivers fail even when they are allowed to back up? Here's where it gets really interesting.
If we connect this to driver behavior, the sources really distill the causes into 3 main groups.
Okay, so group 1.
Group 1 is limited visibility. This is the obvious one. Physical blind spots. You know, the pillars in your car, cargo piled up in the back.
Or just driving a huge truck where you can't see anything small behind you.
Exactly. Poor mirror adjustment falls in here, too.
Right, that's group 2.
Group 2 is driver inattention or distraction. This is the one-and-done check we just talked about, being on your phone, being lost in a conversation.
And, as you mentioned, over-relying on the technology.
That's a big one we'll get to.
Okay, and the final one, group 3.
Misjudging distance or speed. A lot of drivers just reverse way too quickly. They think, I just need to clear this spot.
And that rush just kills your reaction time.
Dramatically. And it makes you overestimate the space you have. So addressing these risks, it all starts with mastering the physical technique.
You mean how you're actually sitting in the car?
Yes. Most people just lean forward.
So let's break it down. The proper technique. You sit up straight, left hand is at the 12 o'clock position on the steering wheel.
And your right hand goes on the back of the passenger seat.
Okay.
This positioning, it's not just for comfort. It physically forces you to do the most crucial step.
Which is...
turning your head and looking over your shoulder.
Why is that physical turn so much better than just using mirrors and the camera?
Because it's the only way to get a full view past the structure of your car. Specifically, that big C-pillar, the post between the back door and the rear window.
The biggest blind spot.
The biggest one. Cameras and mirrors, they have gaps in their coverage. But physically rotating your body, turning your head, that gives you peripheral vision and depth perception that tech just can't replicate. You are literally filling in the blind spot your car's design creates.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just a good idea, it's a necessary action.
Okay, what about speed control? We should be off the gas pedal entirely, right? In most situations, absolutely. Your right foot should be hovering over the brake. You use the brake to gently control the speed. You want the slowest, most controlled movement possible.
Because if something darts out...
you need zero travel time between the accelerator and the brake.
Makes perfect sense. Before we get into tech, I want to bring up a really practical tip from the sources, the parking lot gap rule.
Oh, this is a great one. Super memorable. It's for when you start behind another car in a lane.
Or when you're waiting for a spot.
Right. The rule is always leave enough space so you could pull out to the side if you had to.
And how do you judge that gap? What's the visual cue?
It's simple. You should be able to see the bottom of the rear tires of the car in front of you, right above the hood of your car. If you can't see their tires touching the pavement, you're too close.
I love that. So actionable. Okay, now for the big one. The great modern temptation. Every new car has sensors, cameras. Can I just rely on my tech when I'm backing up?
If you connect this to the bigger picture, the answer from every single source is a clear, resounding, unqualified no.
A resounding no.
Technology is an aid. It is not a replacement for your eyes and your brain.
But why? I mean, the system beeps at me. Why do I still need to crank my neck around?
Because of its limitations.
Yeah.
And they're surprisingly common. First, sensors have limited coverage. They might not detect something very small or thin, like a traffic cone or a low curb.
The being just goes right over it?
It can, yes. And material matters, too. The
Yeah.
sensors bounce sound waves off objects. The materials that absorb sound, like certain plastics or even thick snow, might not register clearly.
So you could be backing toward a wooden fence and get nothing.
A false negative, exactly.
Yeah.
And the cameras aren't perfect either, are they?
No, not at all. Think about the sun glaring into the lens or heavy rain or mud.
Right, that crystal clear view suddenly becomes a blurry, useless mess. If your sensor is covered in dirt, it just fails, and the driver who's relying on the beep is now completely blind.
So the core risk is that the tech is great at spotting a big metal car in perfect weather.
But it fails precisely when you need it most, when conditions are bad or when the object is small and moving, like a person.
Over-reliance breeds complacency.
And complacency leads to accidents. Speaking of which, let's talk about a mechanical issue that catches drivers off guard. Oversteering in reverse.
Oh, I know that feeling. You turn the wheel just a tiny bit, and suddenly the back end of your car swings way out. Why is the steering so sensitive in reverse?
It's just physics. When you go forward, the front wheels steer and the car pivots around the rear axle. It's a smooth, wide turn. But when you reverse, the steering wheels are now essentially at the back relative to your direction of travel.
So the pivot point changes.
It does. The car responds much more sharply to any steering input. So the solution is always gentle steering, small, precise adjustments.
And going slow.
Always. If you feel like you're jerking the wheel, you're going too fast. It's like surgery, not wrestling. Small, deliberate movements.
For those of us who want to get better at this, what's a good practice plan?
Find a safe space. An empty parking lot on a Sunday is perfect. And don't just drive around. Set up some visual targets. Use cones, cardboard boxes, whatever you have.
And start simple, I assume. Straight lines first.
Absolutely. Just get comfortable looking over your shoulder and keeping the car straight. Once you have that down, then you can progress to more complex things.
Like parallel parking.
Exactly, parallel parking, backing into a tight spot, navigating corners around your obstacles. You're building that muscle memory for slow, precise inputs and constant checking.
And then to really master it, you have to vary the conditions.
That's the key. Practice at night to see how low light changes your depth perception. Practice in a light rain to feel how traction changes. That's what makes you a competent, adaptable driver.
That's great advice. Okay, one final question. It's the one people always ask. Does driving in reverse add miles to the odometer?
The classic Mythbuster question. And the short answer is yes, generally it does.
So it doesn't go backwards.
No, it doesn't go backwards, and it doesn't ignore the movement either. Odometers, both the old mechanical ones and the new digital ones, are designed to measure total distance traveled. They're just counting wheel revolutions, and they don't care which way the wheels are turning.
That's fascinating.
It is. I mean, the amount it adds is tiny, of course, but the system is designed to register every bit of movement.
So what does this all mean? It means reversing is anything but a trivial task. It's a brief maneuver that demands 100% of your vigilance for the entire time.
Right. So our three big takeaways for you are, 1, always go slow, control your speed with the brake. 2, never rely only on tech, integrate physical checks with your mirrors and cameras. And 3, know the legal lines. No reversing on highways. Ever.
We focused a lot on visibility and speed, but
Yeah.
there's one final, deeper mechanical insight to think about next time you back up. The impact of load.
This is a really important one. Be aware that the weight distribution in your car can significantly change how it responds in reverse. If you've got the back packed with heavy gear, the car's center of gravity shifts. It's going to swing and respond differently than when it's empty, requiring even more cautious, even smaller steering inputs. It's just another variable to be aware of to truly master control.
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.